Let me introduce you to Daniel.
Well, my entire life I've wanted to become a doctor, and over the last 2 or 3 years I've really wanted to, I felt a calling to do something with humanitarian organizations and try to become a doctor for the poor. And so I took this Nicaraguan winter term to learn about Outreach International and to practice Spanish, sure, but most of all to try to confirm to myself that this is something that I wanted to do someday. And I got to tell you that if you ever get an opportunity like this, if you ever get a chance to take a trip to an impoverished area, don't hesitate, because it's an eye-opener. And for me, once I was invited into a home, the most modest home I've ever seen, and experienced the generosity of a family as they gave me for the night the only bed that they had in their house, and the rest of the family slept in the nearby room on the floor or in hammocks. Or when I talked to the mother and she told me about how hard it was to raise her children when her husband had to work in Costa Rica, the country to the south, 8 months out of the year without coming back more than a week at a time, because that was the only way that they saw that they could get enough money to support their family. Or about her oldest son, who tried to come to the United States, but arrived after months of no contact with the family, back home empty-handed because he'd been deported. When I tasted for the first time this food that they lived their lives on, and I, after a week, was sick of it because it was so bland, the emotions that came with that when I realized that while she was offering me the biggest helping of this meal that she just prepared, her kids had to sit idly by because they only had 2 plates and 1 pair of silverware, and I was using them. And even worse than that, when I was trying to choke down this food, the kids were eager to get their hands on it because this was the biggest meal that they've had in a long time. When I played in the streets with a group of boys, soccer, and I saw the faces on them when I told them it was my time to leave and that I'd be back in a year, hopefully. And they all rushed up to me and gave me a big hug, even though I'd only been there for a day. And deep inside, I kept thinking, I get the opportunity to leave and I can come back when I want to, but these people are going to be here probably for the rest of their lives. It opens your eyes to see these people. When you experience firsthand the effect that poverty has on people that you've just identified with and formed a relationship, it hits home. And so, like I said, I started going into this thinking that I wanted to become a doctor and work for humanitarian organizations. But now I know that that's what I want to do. And I want to try to work towards helping these people and people like them, the millions worldwide, so that someday they might have the chances that we have. And I encourage you to look for those opportunities like Graceland offers, or probably many schools around the country, and go experience it firsthand because it'll change your life.